So hello everyone, it is Jaden and welcome back to another video. Yes, it is another flip through. I thought I would go through my everything journal with you all. As you can see, it's pretty thick, but yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so actually before I get started, this is a Lukrembo 1917, and then the sticker on the front is one of those little like American Girl doll stickers. This is Felicity's dress like pattern, and I thought it like matched the journal cover really well. Now this particular journal, I started it in December and I finished it in March, though like the months in like this journal are from like February, are from December until February. But yeah, here's my little intro page with my name and some stickers. And then so in the Lukrembo like notebooks and journals and stuff, they have this little like index because the pages are like numbered, though can't really see on mine because everything's covered up, but they are numbered. So I printed out my vision board and I put that here. And then I also put my 2025 bingo, and I could also mark off another one of these, which is get a tattoo. Some of these I definitely have not been doing, but that's okay. But anyways, here's my cover page. Welcome to my journal. I just took a piece of scrapbooking paper and then used some like stamps to make the words. Just cut them out. And then I did like the same thing for like each like monthly introduction page. So I just did again like the scrapbook paper and then like using stamps for like the names of the month. But yeah, let's get into like my little spreads. So the very first thing I did was like a Christmas playlist, just including a bunch of different Christmas songs that I enjoy, and then printed out my Spotify Wrapped. And my most listened to artist was Sabrina Carpenter, which I was really surprised by. I 100% thought it would be some kind of like rock band. I also like that my June was theatrical West End Broadway, which is really funny because June is when I went to New York and I saw like The Outsiders. So I was listening to that a lot. So I'm like totally not surprised, but I just think it's really funny. Also, if you're curious, my top songs were Look What the Cat Dragged In by Poison, Girls Got Rhythm by AC/DC, Grease Got a Hold, which is from the Outsiders album, Rebel Yell by Billy Idol, and Please 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 by Sabrina Carpenter. You know, I'm never really sure how entirely accurate this is because I always feel like there's other songs I listen to more, but like, you know, maybe not. Maybe I'm like underestimating like how much I listen to these songs. I don't know. Next was like my final painting critique of 2024, just for this big one. And then it's kind of hard. Well, you can kind of see my writing. I use like this like pale like brown pen. And then the Timberville Winter Festival, I just printed out some pictures from when I went, and they had like a little coffee like stand of one of the places. So both days I got coffee. And then my cousin came and visited me, her and her boyfriend, and it was so sweet of her. I then did my last two classes of 2024, and just talking about like critiques and stuff like that. And then this is inspired by like Martina Calvi, who had, also if you're curious why I'm like covering this up, it's like a nude like figure drawing. But anyways, this is like things to make and not buy for like Christmas for people. This is just like a fun like Christmassy like New York City themed like mood board, and I was talking about like how I think it'd be fun to go to like New York and like during Christmas, even though it's like kind of like a basic kind of thing in a way. But I still think it'd be fun just for like the experience, even though I know it's like probably like absolutely insane. My favorite Christmas album is like Sabrina Carpenter's Fruitcake. I just really like it. And then this is like the sugar cookie recipe from like when like Taehyung of BTS released like the collab with like Bing Crosby, even though like Bing Crosby has passed away, but still like a collab. But yeah. Oh, the power of the internet. Oh, here I was talking about Cookie, this little like gingerbread like clip, which I thought was like so freaking funny and cute. Oh, and then Jungkook went live, and these are just like some like little like memes and stuff from then, and then like some little pictures. And then my Christmas wish list, realistic stuff and unrealistic stuff. Oh my god, I put this book, and I did end up reading this book this year in January, and I didn't like it. I was so disappointed, y'all, let me tell you. Oh, and then we had like a Christmas party at my place, and then like before then, like my uncle and I, we went to like a local like restaurant for breakfast, and I got a cinnamon roll waffle, and it was very, very tasty. And then this is like the instructions on like how to make Muddy Buddies, which is like a very like Christmassy thing for my family, even though it's like not really like a Christmas like food. I just always associate it with Christmas. I then had the Christmas gifts I got from like my cousins and stuff. I got like this little cute gingerbread tin filled with candies. I got these absolutely precious socks with like these like Christmassy frogs all over them. I absolutely adored them. Also got like a beret and some other like fun little stuff. She got me a pizza cutter, which was more of like an inside joke for us, but when I saw it, I thought it was so funny. And I used like the wrapping paper that my gifts were wrapped in as like part of the background, which I think is really cute because it has like these little like Christmassy donuts on it. This was just like talking about like one of the random days. Like my little cousins and I, we went to like the local farmer's market. We got like coffee and pretzels, and then like my grandfather bought like a Polaroid, and these are like pictures I took of the pictures, so I could print them out in here. These are like New Yorker covers that I like, which is like kind of random, but I absolutely like love the art on like the New Yorker covers. But yeah, I love this one for like, I think, was it 2000? Yeah, where it's like the Nighthawks, but they have like on like little party hats. Absolutely adore that one. I think it's so stinking cute. Like I love when people like reimagine like the Nighthawks piece. I just love that. This is just a random collage. We went to Barnes & Noble and Target before my uncle and my little cousins left. I got a Vogue magazine, and I saw this cute Christmas card at Target, and then I saw like this Robin, like Christmas Robin action figure, and I thought it was funny. These are treats I associate with the holidays, and I never went back in and colored them, but I kind of like the outlines in a way. It's kind of fun. But I did peanut butter blossoms, pepper jelly over cream cheese with crackers, Muddy Buddies, a peppermint mocha, iced, of course, for me. The David cookies, like the peanut butter, or not peanut butter, the pecan ones, and then peppermint bark. Like these are definitely like very like Christmassy things, but like these aren't, but I still like associate them with like holidays and like Christmas and stuff like that. Okay, sorry about that weird cutoff. I like put in like a Christmas card from like one of my families, or for like one of my family members, and I didn't want their stuff to be on it because they're very private, and it also had my address on it, and I'm not putting that out here. But anyways, this is like me talking about how bad I am at wrapping Christmas presents. Absolutely horrible at it. It's honestly kind of embarrassing. And then this was like some like scraps of like Christmas wrapping paper that I was using with like these dinosaurs that I think is really cute. I then was talking about like Christmas movies. My all-time favorite is the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I absolutely adore it. My family, we love to joke that we're like the Griswolds. And then these are other like classic like Christmas movies for me, which are A Charlie Brown Christmas, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Home Alone, Shrek the Hall, so like the Shrek one, love it. I consider Die Hard a Christmas movie. You can argue with me about that, but I don't know, I do. Claus, Arthur's Christmas, and then like A Christmas Story. Oh, I then talked about like a holiday tradition. This is like, I think, an old like Hallmark like advent calendar or whatever, and ever since I was little, like I've had it, and I still will like put it up and put it on each like little like character or whatever, like every single day. It's like made out of fabric, and I love it. This is like a cheesy little like Christmas Eve quote that like a family member like shared on Facebook, and I thought it was actually kind of cute, so I printed it out. Here was me, this chaotic spread. I was talking about like Christmas and like what I gave to like some of my family, and then like some of the stuff that I got, and then this is a Christmas card from my sister and her boyfriend, and then they also gave us well, my sister, her boyfriend, as well as her dogs, she also gave us a little lottery ticket or whatever. I didn't win anything, not even a single dollar, unfortunately. I joked with my grandmother, like, imagine if I had won like $1,000. Wouldn't that have been something? A Merry Christmas to me. I then was talking about like getting ready for like the new year, and I saw like these little like, well, these prompts weren't mine, but I made like this like layout thing on like Canva about them, so I could do them before the new year started. So I did 2024 memories, like going to football games, my 21st birthday, starting at JMU, going to New York, stuff like that, just having like fun times. I then did more 2024 moments. These were like leftover pictures that I didn't like have space for over here, but they all ended up being like shows that I went to, so it kind of worked out in a way. So I talked about seeing The Outsiders on Broadway, Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club on Broadway, and then going to the Sabrina Carpenter concert, which was a lot of fun. I then did like my 2024 obsessions, which were doing the New York Times games, bagels, especially bagel sandwiches, iced coffee, watching Kitchen Nightmares, watching TikToks, journaling, and then listening to music, and then also this book, the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I really loved it. And then these are all of my like random like pictures from December. This is something that I like to do in my journals, where like at the end of each month I'll like print out like either like memes that I took screenshots of, or like pictures and stuff that didn't really have a place in like any of the other spreads, or like I didn't want to make a full spread out of. So some of them were like the Christmas parade where I live, and I finally found Misery at the thrift store because I've been like looking for it forever. But yeah, then it was 2025. So I did like a little thing on like the new year, just kind of like talking about like my plans for like this upcoming year, and then a bunch of just like nice like little quotes and stuff like that. And then I did January, and then it's BTS year. As I am filming this, all of the members except for Yoongi are out of the military, and I am so excited. And yeah, so I was kind of like talking about that, like, oh my god, I can't believe like it seems like so long, but at the same time it's like kind of crazy. I then did ins and outs for like the month, just like reading more books as like an in, but like an out was like worrying over things that I have no control over. I still do that. That has not gone out, unfortunately. At least for me, it hasn't. One day it will, hopefully. I then did my current fixations, which included like, I don't know, like listening to like a podcast. Costco almond croissants were really good, and now they don't sell them anymore, and I'm really sad about that. And then I have Happy Mail from Bree's Tiny Print Shop, and I just did a little spread with it. This turned out really ugly. I thought it would have looked better. Like the way I imagined it in my head, it looked a lot better. But my Spotify on repeat as of January 2025, and like I had these like left over from like a sticker sheet that I finished, and I loved like the hollow. So I tried like doing something with it, but I don't like it. I did like this crazy collage using like some more like packaging from like Bree's Tiny Print Shop, as well as like some like papers and like stuff that I had. This is inspired by like something I saw on Pinterest. So some of like my favorite foods, which include like iced coffee, of course, well, food and drinks, but like iced coffee, pineapple, I love fresh pineapple, pumpkin bars, mac and cheese, bagels, all that good stuff. Also, sorry if you heard like the fridge make a noise. This is like the first time I taught a class at like the little art studio that I work at. It was painting a little bird. I tried this like bulldog ramen for the first time, and I did not add all of the sauce to it, and it was still crazy spicy. And I love spicy food, but yeah, that was a lot. And it's the carbonara version, which I've heard is like one of the least spicier versions. But yeah, it was still absurd. This is loot I would drop in a video game, which include like my journal, iced coffee, plushies, you know, music, nail polish, definitely. This is from an order I got from Wally Club. Here's they were doing like a fundraiser for like Sesame Street, like Saving Sesame Street. and it was a sticker, and if you bought the sticker, they did this little doodle on your thank you card. So I got, "It's incredible where you can go with your imagination," which is an Elmo quote. I don't know, I felt like that worked like really well for me, especially, you know, since I'm like an artist and stuff. So I have that taped in here. And then also some of like the other like little random things from like packaging and stuff like that. All right, sorry if there was a weird cut. I got a phone call in the middle of filming this. But anyways, next up is like a spread from like the Diaries, which is like a magazine. But they were, before they like released the magazine, they were doing like this little postcard club thing. So these are like the postcards, and then they have like this little like guest check that has like prompts. I couldn't think of the word to like answer, so that's what I was writing about here. This page is a coffee creamer review. I tried the Thai iced coffee, which I gave this 4 stars at the time. This was in January. As of June, I tried this coffee creamer again and I hated it. And it wasn't like bad or anything. I don't know, maybe my taste has changed. And then this wedding cake one, which I did not like. But yeah, I was curious, you know, sometimes they have like the weird flavored like coffee creamers, and like I have a feeling I'm most likely not gonna like it, but I still want to try them anyways, you know. But yeah, wasn't a fan of either of these, but well, I was a fan, but now I'm not anymore. But yeah. Oh, this was like looking for like, I like Martina Colby's like Instagram and like the aesthetic and the vibes, and I was like taking it as like kind of like inspiration for like my own. I have not changed up the way I take photos on Instagram since then, but I don't know, I can like really just like try it maybe. I just love the vibes. I don't know, there's something about it that I really find satisfying. Here's a little like collage, I guess you could call it, of like a mystery plushie. This is like one of Mariah Elizabeth's like mystery plushies, and I got the pickled pink one, which I think is very cute. I then got a haircut right before I went back to school, which I really love. Right now, I actually like really want to get a haircut again, so I need to think about making an appointment. This is a quote by Martin Luther King Jr. "We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope." I just really liked that. This is just like a little letter, like New Year's letter from Jin of BTS, and it said something like, he was like, "Oh, you'll become rich," which I just thought was really funny. This is a little like poem somebody posted on Instagram, and I really liked it, about like the world not, like your world not ending in 2025. I'm personally, I know I'm not the only person who's like this, but I stress a lot about like the future and stuff like that. So just kind of like reading this like little like poem about like how good like your future could be, I don't know, just seemed nice, so I put it in here. Movie of the month, here I was trying to watch more movies, and I only watched one in January, and it was The Monuments Men. It was an okay movie, wasn't bad, wasn't my favorite, but yeah. And then here's the books that I read in January. We Sold Our Souls, like I said, 2.5 stars out of 5, really disappointing. Like, I had so much potential of like being like a rock band or like a rock star, like selling like your soul in order to like gain fame and like stuff like that, and it just didn't hit. I read Misery by Stephen King, absolutely loved it, and I also read The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, which is also a very fantastic book. And then here's some of my little random pictures, which include some of like my New York Times games, getting pizza, my sister's dog, her new dog that she got, TikTok being shut down and then coming back literally like 14 hours later. But yeah, next up was February. I absolutely like adore the scrapbooking paper. I think it's so pretty. But here's some more blind box. It's just Mariah Elizabeth's like plushies and stuff. They're so freaking like adorable, so I had to get one. I got Derp with the little donut, which I think is very, very cute. I then like watched the Super Bowl. Well, that's a lie, I did not watch the Super Bowl. I did watch the halftime show though. It was really great, and I'm also really excited that the Eagles won and not the Chiefs. And then this was just like a random quote I had printed out before, and it was just like laying like in like a pile of like stuff that I had, so I just put it here and decorated the page with like some stickers and stuff like that. Here is a collage of when I got the Martina's Tiny Store like snail mail box. So I just, why is this? Okay, I thought it was stuck. So I just made like a big collage out of everything that I got. Sorry for the awkward cut. There was another thing that had like my dress from like snail mail collage, so I flipped past that. But anyways, I again got more plushie blind box. I got Marlo, and more Mariah Elizabeth like blind box as well. But yeah, very, very cute. More snail mail. This was from Sad and Yellow. I thought this little thing was cute. It says having a cool day, and I thought it was adorable. I love like the gigantic eyes and stuff like that. This was me like talking about like listening to more of like BTS. This was more like snail mail club, like collaging and stuff. This is more coffee creamer, and this was the amaretto coffee creamer. This is the best coffee creamer I've ever had. They like changed it, like now it's like almond cherry macaroon or whatever. Still very good, and it's probably like the only like coffee creamer I buy now, even though it is so difficult to find. More blind boxes and stuff like that. I was really into them at the beginning of this year. Now I haven't bought any of them in like a couple of months, but I got, who did I get? I think I got Pickled Pink. I'm pretty sure that's the one I got. I can't remember. But yeah, very cute, very adorable. This is still more of my address. Hopefully you didn't see it, but this is just like an order I got, and then this is like a little letter from like Jungkook on Weverse. So I printed it out and pasted it in here. Here's more of those like prompt like from the diaries and like the postcards. So here's me talking about like books and stuff that I like. It's like all of my favorite things. This was about the like Post Malone like Oreos, because my dad saw them at the store and he's like, I've never seen these before, and honestly they were pretty good. So I just, after we finished them, I like took the package and I made like a little spread about them. Here's just like some Outsiders Valentines that they posted, and I thought they were kind of funny, so I printed them out and put them in here. Here's me talking about like a little plushie I got named Caramel. I thought it was so cute. I just saw him like sitting there on like the shelf, and I was like, he was like $5. I'll get him. This is like a random recipe that I found online and I had taken screenshots of, and I needed to put it somewhere, so I put it in my journal. This is me talking about books that I need to read. I haven't read any of these except for Blitzed by Norman Ohler. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his last name. Very good, highly recommend. It's about like the drug usage that was like happening in like the Nazi party during like the Third Reich. So if you love like history and stuff like that, like nonfiction, highly recommend. It was so incredibly fascinating. I'm like a huge like history like nerd and stuff, so I really enjoyed it. What is my brain made up of? This is like really ugly. But I did like song lyrics, worrying, school, art, stuff like that. Worrying honestly could be like a little bit bigger now that I'm looking at it, because I'm a very anxious person. But yeah, I think this was also inspired by like a TikTok I had seen, or like something on Pinterest. This was definitely inspired by something on TikTok and Pinterest. My fig tree, which is like Sylvia Plath, like inspired by like a Sylvia Plath quote, and kind of like the jobs that I thought of doing, which were like a chef, an archaeologist, a social worker, an occupational therapist, a teacher, and then finally an artist. That's kind of where I've landed on. But yeah, if I wasn't an artist, I think I would be probably an archaeologist, which is also like a difficult job to like get into. But as you know, same with like artists, like actually like finding work, it can be more difficult, but I think that's definitely like something that I would do. Oh, and then here's me talking about like Hope on the Stage, the start of his tour. I wish he would have like performed in like DC or something closer to me, because I would have loved to have gone. It looked like such an amazing show. I love seeing like the clips people post every night on like Twitter and stuff. But I was just talking about that, and I put the little caramel sticker, because if you're like a fan of BTS, you know that like people like will compare like Hobie to like a squirrel or like a chipmunk. So I thought that was like really fitting. Also, like his little BT21 character, like Mang, is like a little squirrel slash chipmunk. So yeah. I then did questions to ask my future self, and then did like recent plays or like recent songs that I had listened to. Yeah, and then did what I'm grateful for. This is definitely like inspired by Pinterest spread, and just like some silly little things like, you know, my home, my family, art, iced coffee, you know. Some of them are more serious, some are more silly. And then did my book of the month because I only read one in February, and it was Resist by Ruta Amoka, or Amoka, yeah, Amoka. I believe that's how you pronounce her last name. Absolutely incredible book, so good. So it's about like Black activism, or like Black activists from like the past century. So incredible. Also highly recommend. Gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And then here is my little like random picks from the month. And this is like this little like sticker that was on bananas of like Angel from like Lilo and Stitch and stuff, which I thought was very cute. I then also just did, or like ended up this journal with like a little letter. But yeah, that is the end of this journal flip through. Thank you all so much for coming along with me as I kind of like talked about it. I know the past couple of weeks have been like a lot of like flip throughs and stuff like that, but I'm just trying to get them like done and out of the way so I can work on new stuff. I definitely have some other stuff that I've been wanting to film, like working on stuff for like Tangier and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you all have an absolutely amazing day or weekend, or you know, just whenever you're watching this. But yeah, also let me know if you've been journaling or have finished a journal recently. But yeah,